Hey, it's your girl KB back with another review, y'all. We had a week off, but we is back for Real Housewives of Atlanta. And it was cool. You know, they pulled for them to be making this a three-part reunion, because the season just not giving three parts, especially if Kenya and Britt not there. It's just not giving three parts. But we're here at part one, y'all. It wasn't so bad. I was entertained. I suppose I was entertained. Season 16, episode 18, reunion part one. So of course we see all the girls getting their glam done, hair, makeup. We see the outfits and things. Kelly has her glam team in t-shirts that says Kelly's Glam on the back. And I was like, okay. And then she says, yeah, since there's some confusion about, whose team is whose, I just made sure my people had on shirts. You doing all this to do the most, and Britt ain't even there. Britt ain't even there to confuse your team with hers. So that was just a key all in its own. Then we see Phaedra wandering around. She's looking for Britt. There is no Britt. She goes to Porsha, wake her up. And that's why I'm like, how they 2.5 hours late if we see them there at like 7 o'clock? I think it was 7 o'clock. But Porsha was in there asleep. Phaedra looked like she was about ready. But baby, Porsha was asleep. Okay, and everybody come in there and they like, girl, Britt not here. They discussing, oh, I talked to her last week. I talked to her yesterday. And she said she was coming. She didn't say she wasn't coming. But what else? She ain't there. We see current day. Britt has, filed an injunction to sue Bravo. And she also posted what would have been her reunion look with the stylist Paris Che. Okay. It's like, that fell flat because you did it so long after they revealed their reunion looks. I get it, you were trying to wait till the reunion actually aired, but it's been like 2-3 weeks since we've seen the reunion looks. So yeah, you can go scout out the baddest gold dress that you can find so you can make sure you're dressed better than all the girls there. But whatever, y'all. She announced her exit. She will not be on the show anymore. We're like, obviously. So yeah, but they're 2.5 hours late coming out to the stage. So we get out there. The couch looks stupid. We've got, who was it? Porsha and Phaedra on this side. Then we got Shamia, Kelly, Angela, Drew on this side. So disrespectful to have Drew on the end. She quite literally carried this season for y'all. Drew and Angela, if it wasn't for them, it would not have been anything to tune into. It would not have been anything to tune into. So them having Drew on the end like that, I'm not even a Drew fan like that, but I felt disrespected. So Andy mentions Britt not being there, and Kelly's just like, well, Britt, she caused mass destruction. And, she played victim and villain at the same time. I said, okay, Beyonce. All right, Beyonce. The thing about the dresses, y'all, because I be having it playing where my notes sit. It's like they don't get fitted for their dresses or something, and they boobs be looking so suffocated. Like the boobs be like smushed together and pushed in because they just getting a dress off the rack versus getting a dress that they can alter. That's what it's giving. You getting a dress that you gonna give back, because if you could alter it, you need to get somebody seamstress to take out a little something on the sides to give your boobs a little more space to breathe. It just be looking so crazy. It's like, y'all know y'all got these crazy boob jobs. Be ready for a seamstress. Have a seamstress on hand to fix these garments, because your boobs look like they about to Drew little string them broke. Phaedra just looked crazy altogether. Cynthia, speaking of Cynthia, they just had to bring her on out there. They just had to bring her on out there, honey, because the couch looked so daggone empty. I said, oh, okay, that's why they didn't move nobody on, because they brought Cynthia out early. So her makeup looks awful. That's what I was about to say. Speaking of Cynthia, her dress was fine. They said Cynthia had that in the closet. Cynthia's dress looked fine. It was nothing wrong with it. She wasn't best dressed. She wasn't worst dressed. But her makeup is like, what's this? The contour. The contour and the bronzer, it just seemed way too dark on her face, and it was just such a dark, heavy line, and it chopped her face in half for me. It made me think about, did y'all used to watch South Park? Remember how they would do the Canadians? Like their heads would like not really be attached. So their heads flapped at the mouth. All of you Canadians are the same with your beady eyes and your flapping heads. That's what her face was giving, because it just looked like you could literally just lift you up off the mouth right here like them damn Canadians on South Park. It bothered me so bad that line was so harsh and dark. And I'm like, side note, I be on and off with wearing makeup. So the other day, well, maybe no, a couple months ago, when I was putting on some makeup, I was like, ooh, this foundation a little old. I need to re-up on my products. So it wasn't until a couple of weeks ago, a couple months later from that incident, where I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta buy new face products or whatever. Because I got some stuff that is fairly new. Because I'm the type of person, I just put on makeup for like a wedding, a birthday, stuff like that. I'm not necessarily a makeup girly. And it's really just because I procrastinate and I don't really give myself enough time to get ready. Because I have all of the stuff and I like doing makeup. It's fun to do. So I got myself a tinted moisturizer because I don't like foundation. I got myself a tinted moisturizer. So once my skin, because I told y'all something burnt my skin, and then when I cleared it up and retried product by product trying to see what burnt me, it's something else that burnt me, so I didn't eliminate the right product. So once my skin heal up and used to breathing all good, I'm gonna be trying out some little makeup looks and stuff, seeing what's going on, if I can do a little something. I know I'm gonna need some work on some eyeshadow, but I say all that to say the contouring is something that I stay away from if I don't know how to do it. If I'm not feeling confident about that dark contour line coming across here, baby, you supposed to take that foundation and blot it back in something. Cynthia, that line was just so harsh, and her being a supermodel, it hurt me on the inside for her to be sitting there looking like that. Her backup dancer, at least security can get you backstage. Jesus. So, like I said, they brought her on out there. Andy turns to her and was like, you know you've been like the glue this season, right? Here's my Andy note cards. You know you've been like the glue this season, right? Have I? Have I, child? He's like, yeah. So, how do you feel about the girls exposing your clit? And I think it was Kelly that was like, I have questions. And Andy was like, so if she got questions, you know I got questions. I'm still wondering, and when they did the flashback scene, it's just the way going back to Porsha's face, and she's sitting there like, yup, she got an inverted clit. She do. And it's like, why do you know this? No, nobody... Everybody's skipping over that part. Porsha, why do you know that Cynthia's clit is inverted? You know, I think it all goes back to one freaked out night in South Carolina with where is Bolo and his thing, when Porsha said, one of you bitches is eating me tonight. And Cynthia looked like she was scared, but she was gonna go for whatever them girls went for, because them her friends, and she know they ain't gonna put her in no danger. It's giving Porsha gave her a bachelorette a bachelorette treat. Happy getting married, girl. Let me. I got a trip. You know that. Just me. You know what? If my girl Bondi Blue was here right now, I don't know her in real life, but I like her reviews, y'all. Send Bondi my way. Tell her she would love my videos. I've been trying to tell her she would love my videos. Y'all send Bondi Blue my way. But if Bondi Blue was here to talk to me, she would agree. She would agree that these girls is freaked out and they was like this. Okay? She would agree. So now let's get to where we at. The first package is Porsha. Andy's like, oh, Porsha, the return, the divorce. How do you feel? The way he like made that stinging stick really took me out, right? Like the tone of how Andy was even saying it, kind of a letdown. Yes, the return was a letdown for sure. But oh, even before they get there, somebody say something about setting intentions. I think Shamia prays and Porsha is like, so for me, what I need from you is understanding. How can we communicate if you don't hear what I say? Okay, so if we're gonna be real girlfriends, we're gonna be friends. If not, we can leave it where it's at. I said, okay, Porsha. And Andy is like, oh, we see Coco and Chanel got refreshed. She said, do they look new? Smell them. It was just a reference to when Porsha got her boobs done the first time about 10 years ago, which was after she had got a divorce from Cordell. She had got them boobs. They look new. Smell them. Andy gonna say, I think that's an HR issue. That'll probably be an HR. Andy said, listen, we already in trouble with HR. Don't give them no more ammo. Andy said, we can't even play like that no more, girl. We can't even play like that no more, girl. And speaking of Coco and Chanel, y'all, if you have, if you don't follow Porsha, if you have not been on her Instagram, go to Porsha's Instagram. She did a go naked hair shoot where she literally goes naked. I said, baby, this ain't about go naked. This is about Coco and Chanel. Stop playing. She look good. She looks so good, y'all. I said, damn, this is why you get away with all the murder and scandal in so many people's eyes, because you still got a bit of a bubbly personality and you look like this. Y'all, hold on. Where do I have Instagram over here? If I have Instagram, I don't have Instagram over here. I thought I did. Maybe not, y'all. Y'all, she looks so good in the picture. She looks so good. Oh, I know where I can find it. Y'all, what? She bad. We can say a lot of things about Porsha, but Porsha, the body is tea and the face is tea, period. Anywho, back to that crazy lady. Her comeback was a flop. Andy feels it in his spirit. That's why he introduced the subject like they did. They show her a little package about, you know, what she been up to this season. They talk about her divorce and how she finally got the house. She wasn't able to film in the house all season, but we saw 5 months later, they pulled them cameras out to show that Porsha finally gets to film in the house. As we know, well, if you watch Porsha's Family Matters, once they got engaged, they went house shopping to buy a house before the wedding, but it was still going to be marital property, but they wanted to already be settled, right? So even though he purchased it before they actually got married, they put in the prenup that it was still treated as marital property. So she got the house for 2 to 3 years for him paying, and then after that she either has to put the house over in her name or sell it and give him half. Ooh, excuse me. So they asked about the divorce. Okay, you got the house. What about the divorce? She's like, yeah, we went to court, but my divorce wasn't finalized, you know, like hers. It wasn't finalized, da da da. Drew and Kelly over there like hers. Like, who's she talking about? Who's she talking to? And then Kelly was offended because she's like, our divorces are not the same. Our divorces are not the same. I was married for 11 years. You were married for 11 months. Porsha was like, oh, so mine doesn't matter. So mine doesn't matter. Okay. But I feel like Kelly was doing too much. My first reaction is Kelly is doing too much because the divorces are the same. The marriages are vastly different, but the divorces, y'all are both going through divorces with men who are trying to put limitations and control what you're doing. They're threatening you in some way. It might not be physical, it might be financial, it might be home-wise, economically, threatening you in some way, and is going to the blogs to dish you, to dog you, to put y'all information out there. Yes, the divorces are quite similar, my dear. Marriages, light years apart. The divorces, yeah, right? So, watching it through the second time, although I still feel like Kelly was doing a bit much, I can see why she was doing a bit much. Because Kelly, someone who was, you know, a seemingly wholesomely married woman, having somebody that's looked at as a whore compare themselves to you, it's like, hold up. That's what we not finna do. So I feel Kelly in that regards, because baby, we are nothing alike. Please don't ever play with me to say that I'm like you. When you stole that lady husband, why you steal that lady husband? Okay, so I can see how Kelly was triggered by somebody like Porsha trying to compare their situations. So they're arguing and stuff like that, and they're talking about prenups. Portia's like, well, you should have worked on your prenup more. And she was talking about how her and Dennis are great co-parents and they be kikiing all the time. Kelly said, all up in that man's house. All up in that man's house. Portia said, it's my house. What about your house? You had to move out your house, right? I said, ooh, we want to talk about houses. Baby, you had to get out your house. Portia said you should have worked on your prenup some more so you could still be in your house. While you're talking about me in my house. I was just like, point Porsha, okay? So Porsha then tells us that it took 9 months to get their prenup worked out. I feel like 9 months to do a prenup is a surefire sign that you should not get married. I'm just, or if you're gonna get married, just know that this is for a good time, not a long time. Because how much are you hiding? How much back and forth do we have to do for 9 months? That's crazy. Like, I was thinking like 2 or 3 maybe, depending on, you know, seeing how somebody gonna act, making sure this, that, and the third. Really a few weeks this should be ironed out. But I can see where some people might really see what the breakdown of stuff is. But 9 months, Porsha, I said, my God. So at this point, they're calling Porsha and Shamia to task, okay? Because they're saying that allegedly Shamia hooked Porsha up with Simon. Okay, Shamia is saying, no, I never said I hooked them up. I said I was there when they met. They rolled the tape on Shamia. Well, no, I don't even think she said that. She just said I wasn't there when they met. They rolled the tape back. That's when we see Shamia saying I was there when they met. 2 totally different statements. However, the internet sleuths, you know, the super fans, they went and pulled up a post from the past when Porsha and Simon had first got together. Shamia had commented saying something, and Porsha replied and said, "You're the best matchmaker ever." I said, yikes, Shamia. Yikes. And this is the beginning of seeing the huge divide where Porsha and Shamia are not on the same page. Like, Shamia spent over half of her time this season defending Porsha, lying for Porsha, standing 10 toes down in whatever Porsha needed, only for Porsha to get to this reunion and lay upon the sword and said, yes, I was wrong and I lied. And now I'm looking at Shamia like, are you going to go and just lay on the sword too for your loyalty? It's like, my loyalty put me on the sword. Because you trying to stick to your guns when she just said, she just blew your cover, baby. She just blew your cover, but we'll get there. We're about to get there. We are about to get there. So now we float to Porsha and Drew. And basically how Porsha did not want Drew to record with Dennis. Porsha still claims that there are text messages that allude to Drew trying to use SCX for studio time or something along those lines, but we all know Porsha will misconstrue things and try to fudge things around for her benefit. So when Andy asked for the text message, she's like, I ain't got them. Exactly. You never had them. Once people start calling your bluff on these text messages ain't what you said it said, you stop pulling them stupid text messages out. Andy asked Drew, like, oh, so on one of your interviews, you said that Porsha's return was a flop. Do you still think that? You still agree that it was a flop? Drew was like, well, yes. I think, her storyline was a flop. She was supposed to present this divorce and what she was going through with Dennis, that whole lifetime. I mean, with Simon, that whole, life and things, and it was snatched from her. So she didn't have a storyline, so she had to use me. Porsha said, you need to worry about who Ralph down in that basement flipping and flopping with. That's what you need to worry about, flopping. Drew said, Simon says, you have no storyline. Y'all, I was tickled. I was tickled, okay? It was so funny to me. Corny funny, but funny nonetheless. Especially following up with Porsha's a little tired. You need to worry about who Ralph flopping with in that basement. She not worried about it. That's why she divorced him. That's why he in the basement. Dude. Okay. So they also bring up how Porsha met with Ralph with Shamia. Andy asked, was Andy or a viewer question, asked if she was being petty. Porsha finally admits that yes, she was being petty. This was get back. You film with my baby daddy, I film with your baby daddy. What now? Y'all? She admits it, and Shamia's face when this happened. Shamia's like, she's like side-eyeing, like looking around like, is somebody finna call me out? Is somebody finna call me out? And I'm really wondering if anybody, because Angela, if I was Angela, this would have been my moment. If I was Drew, this would have been my moment. It's giving lapdog because Shamia, didn't you say that Porsha didn't know? But now Porsha is admitting that she knew. So you're admitting that you lied, right? I'm wondering if that happened and they just cut it out just for the sake of time. You know what I mean? But Shamia's face was giving, oh my gosh, I'm busted. They're on to me. They're on to me. So Andy is just like, okay, so Porsha, now that you've seen this season and you see that there was no funny business with Drew and Dennis, don't you think you owe her an apology? And Porsha's like, you know what? You know what? And walks over to Drew and holds her arms out for a hug. They hug. Porsha sits down and gives her version of an apology. Y'all, when they hugged, all I could think about was, Kenya, come here. Do you see how Porsha hugged Drew, the breast-to-breast contact, the two arms wrapped around lovingly, the deep breath embrace, that is the hug that Britt wanted from you. Okay, she wanted a titty to titty embrace. Just in case you forgot and was wondering, next time you meet a new girl, because we know you're coming back next season. So if another one comes, you see that titty to titty embrace, that is what you give them. We don't need another season 16, Kenya. I missed you. I missed you, Kenya. Damn. Kelly and Britt problem, and I'm joking, y'all. Nobody don't have to hug nobody they don't want to hug. These are jokes. Kelly and Britt's problem with the glam team. I was very uninterested in this. I halfway really listened. It's just so dumb. Kelly said something like, yeah, she offered her glam team to Britt, but Britt was paying for the services. I don't know. It just sounds like to me when you offer up something, it's your treat. It's my treat. You bringing a stylist that I gotta pay for. That's why Britt couldn't pay for nothing this season. Her budget was blown because Kelly and this damn stylist. She ain't have a stylist because she couldn't afford a stylist, Kelly. So that's why y'all only have food at the country club. That's why the country club and the event planner ain't get their money, because Kelly and this stylist. Now she gotta flex for you and this stylist and this makeup artist when she ain't got it. Blowing her little Housewives first season budget. Girl, I said, girl, I would have took them people on too. She probably worked out a deal with Paris. Ain't no telling what type of deal she done hooked up because you done put them in such close proximity and had her paying for the services. Yeah, this my team too at this point. If you bringing them for me to pay for the services, it's my team too. Hey, twin. Like, what? Am I tripping? Tell me if I'm thinking about this all wrong. But if you offering up something to me, at least the first one is on you. At least. Don't offer it. Just be like, oh, you should talk to him and see about his rates and stuff. Don't be like, here goes my stylist. Use him. Girl, no. You pushed her into a corner to spend her money. Because what's she supposed to say? Oh, no, thanks. This ain't that type of party. So, next. Shamia, Britt, and Kelly tried to make an alliance. Shamia claims that Porsha was also a part of that alliance. I don't necessarily see it as Porsha was a part of that alliance. I think Porsha, the new girls are more her age range, so it was just easier to hang out over there or, you know, make friends wherever she floated. But it wasn't like Porsha was, you know, slantedly over here, you know, an alliance like deep enough for an alliance. But I don't know, who knows. Porsha's just like, what? Who was a part of alliance? I wasn't a part of an alliance. Alliances ruined this show. Being on the show as long as I know that alliances ruined this show. Okay. And then Andy's like, well, why didn't y'all include Angela if it was a new girl alliance? It was like, Angela already had Drew, her Chicago sister. She was good. Screaming. They bring up how Britt and Kelly, how Britt said that Kelly had those, went to the chop shop, went to the baby chop shop. And Kelly is like, no, I had my tubes tied after my twins because her 3 children that she has with her husband, they all came out with brittle bones disease. Remember, she had that event at Balmain for fundraising for that. So she said that's why she had her tubes tied, because she saw that she was having these children with these defects. So she had her tubes tied. What baby was coming? So seems like Britt just being messy. It really seems like Britt is just being messy because For what reason was that to even be something to say? So Andy is just like, well, where did she get this information? Who told her this? Kelly said the stylist. This is something that her and the stylist cooked up. I said, Paris, not Paris Che. I said, and the funniest part about it to me is Paris, you picked sticking with Britt over Kelly, who you started off with, and now Britt's not even on the show to showcase your designs. You see, when you do clownery, the clown comes to bite back, okay? Now to Kelly. They talk about the divorce. Is it finally final? Yes, it is. It cost me $200,000. Phaedra said, that's it? Oh, girl, you got off good. And I was confused because I'm like, with how her divorce was sounding, I would think that her husband would have to pay her divorce attorney. That's not a thing? Okay. Well, I guess maybe because she got the means to. She got the means to them. Whatever. But Andy asked her about the restaurant suing her. So why haven't you been paying the bills? She was like, oh, because I had this, $200,000 divorce attorney to pay. And they all kind of giggled. But Andy was like, yeah, but I mean, we see the way you pamper the dog. Like, why does the dog need massages? And, I don't know if Andy mentioned it, but I'm mentioning it as Andy. We see you gifted your daughter like 17 designer purses. I mean, that had to be well over $25,000, which the credit card company is currently suing you for as well. So it's just like, your restaurant still isn't opened? When is the restaurant open? Who was it? It was Porsha said joggers, spring, summer. Spring, summer. Kelly says, definitely summer. It's definitely summer. And Andy is still looking at her in disgust. Instead of investing in the dog, maybe you should invest in your business. Andy is sick of her because, like I said, I get secondhand embarrassment. I get cringe every time something pops up in the media about her not paying no bills, because we see you just spending so frivolously. What is the point? Like, it's one thing to have a stylist, pick out some looks, you pack your bags and go, but to fly your stylist out with you when you're going on vacation sounds like a waste of money. To get your daughter 17 designer purses for her birthday, it sounds excessive. Give her 2, give her 3, but 17 designer purses for her birthday. For your dogs, probably bi-weekly, monthly maintenance over $1,000 to get your dog looking that stupid, lashes and diamonds and hair dye and massages. The dog's party had to be like $10,000 at least. So to see you spending all this money, but you being sued by the restaurant and the credit card company, and then your excuse is, I'm going through a divorce, so the finances was tied up for that. Okay. Andy got her. Ain't even no point in harping on her no more. At some point, Porsha had came at Kelly about her security. Porsha was like, because they were like, do y'all think it was weird that Kelly had security? Everybody was like, no. Porsha said, especially because we knew the reason that she had security. Well, both reasons that she had security. Because what I heard was he wasn't even after her like that. She was making it up. Kelly was like, girl, what? I can't just file a restraining order for no reason. It has to be cause. And they look at Phaedra like, is that right, attorney? She was like, I mean, well, technically you can, but yeah, she said what she said. I can't file it, but there has to be cause. And she had cause. Now, cause don't mean that somebody had to physically run up on you and attack you, but that was literally her case. It was in the divorce proceedings that was her case. So Porsha saying this was just really low. It was just really unnecessary. And claiming the girl is making up the husband being after her. She was like, you think I would rather pay Kenny than pay my bills? Kelly, we don't know. We see you're not good with money, so maybe, boo-boo, maybe. Then we close it off with Angela embarrassing us. You had such a bomb season, Angela, but you will not let go of this bone about Marcus being paid by Phaedra to come on here and say stuff, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. So she got this manila envelope where she's saying that the guy Marcus who came up to the event saying that her husband was cheating was paid by Phaedra. Now, first she says that the guy said he was paid by this person and this person and this person. So they're like, so if he's changed his story multiple times, why are you believing him now? Because he's from Athens. He's from Athens. His auntie and her brother went to school together. Da, 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 da. And then she pulls out this envelope like a Facebook mutual friends. Ain't that your brother? Ain't that your brother? You see? And it's like, no, baby. No. But the funniest part about that is she might be on to something, because draw back to Nene and Phaedra arguing about Athens and how Phaedra was like, Athens was so small, everybody know everybody, and da 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 da. So it's like, does everybody still know everybody, Phaedra? The class needs to know. But it's still lame, because it's like, girl, doing all of this when you could just be like, yeah, he was messy, yeah, I don't know who did it, it is what it is, the truth shall always come to light. You carrying this bone this hard, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing me and my homegirl. But with that, that's part 1 of the reunion, y'all. Make sure y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment, let me know what y'all think about this reunion as well as this review. Share the video with people that you know. If you know Bondi Blue, y'all tag her so she can see my videos, because I bet you she would agree with me.